Good evening, everyone. We are preparing for the upcoming ordination training, which is going to be happening next week. And uh, during the training, we will, have some Dhamma talk, and some classes is very formal, and some classes is again very casual. Okay, today is very formal, okay, because one of the things that Luang Pi would like all the monk to experience is to go directly to the original teaching of the Buddha, which is kept in the Buddhist text. Okay, I specifically select the sutra that I believe it's interesting and benefit the new monk. So that's why I put everything together in the PowerPoint, and we go together. To study the Buddhist text is not easy. Okay, it's all languages. A lot of texts need more explanation. Okay, particular is like tonight, this sutra. When you read by yourself, even myself at the beginning, it took me quite a long time to understand what behind the text itself. Okay, read several books, listen to several teachers, and put together. Okay, this sutra is not too short and not too long either. It's in between. The name of the sutra is called with Samiddhi. Okay, Samiddhi is the name of the monk. Okay, it's the name of the monk, and his story is very interesting. Okay, it kept in the Saṃyutta Nikāya, Saṃyutta Nikāya, number 1. It's Nikāya means collection. Saṃyutta means group. Like this collection is a group of teaching that related to the Deva. You guys know the word Deva? Okay, Deva, spirit or angel, whichever you can relate it to. Okay, so in this particular teaching, I would stick with the word Deva, since everyone understand that. So a few tips when we study Buddhist texts. I like you to imagine yourself back to the Buddha time, back to this particular context 2,500 years ago, because a lot of things we have no idea, like the custom, how people dress, how people eat, how people do things. We need to somehow kind of use our imagination. It helps us to understand the sutra better when we study. For example, in India, when people do this, that means yes. But most people, when we do this is yes, right? But sometimes the text said, the man met the Buddha and he shake his head like this. So what does it mean? Did he reject his teaching, or did he accept his teaching? So something like that. So we kind of have to use some, imagination and try to understand what behind the scene. Oh, okay. So what's so interesting about this sutra? I give you an overview, and I try to keep it within 30 minutes. Okay, it can go longer than that. Samiddhi monk is a young, good-looking monk. Okay, he ordained with purpose. Okay, and there is the spirit or the Teva. Okay, notice that. Hey, how come this young monk ordained at the young age? You so healthy, handsome, bodily, mentally perfect. You should do something else instead of becoming a monk. So the spirit asked him question, okay, and he didn't know how to answer in detail. So he encouraged the spirit to ask the question to the Buddha himself. But the spirit said, no, I'm just an ordinary spirit. I cannot just go ahead and ask question to the Buddha. This is like human realm. You need to be powerful enough to get close to your president, right? Or the prime minister. You cannot just walk and ask question. Same thing. Later on, the monk Smith go pay respect to the Buddha and ask question on behalf of the spirit, and spirit get a chance to listen to the answer, so they understand the Dhamma. Okay, that's basically the whole thing. But so interesting to me that every sutra that we study, okay, that myself study, it somehow, if we really understand the teaching of the Buddha through each sutra, it helps us calm the mind down, it helps us to develop wisdom, and it helps us to be liberated or enlightenment. Most people, when they met the Buddha and have a chance to listen to the talk or ask question to the Buddha, most of them, I would say most of them, not all of them, most of them would have achieved, a certain level of enlightenment or understanding. Okay, and that's something very special. So if we pay attention to each sutra that we learn, I believe we learn a lot. Even this particular sutta, you know, someone have achieved enlightenment. Okay, so and um, I want you to get used to the term that mentioned in the text as well. Okay, the word that they use, the vocabulary that they use, the setting that they use, and imagine yourself in that particular setting, and comparing yourself, because we are among now in this 21st century, to see if anything related. Okay, okay. The sutra start with this. Thus I have heard. This is always the beginning. Okay, thus I have heard mean refer to Ananda. Ananda is the one who remember the teaching of the Buddha. Okay, and now Ananda tell the story to the Sangha. Okay, on one occasion the Blessed One was dwelling. The Blessed One means the Buddha. Okay. He stayed at the Rajachakra. Rajachakra is the town at the hot spring park. This place is a hot spring park. There's a park with the hot spring, so the monk can go take shower there. Okay, so Venerable Samiddhi as well. He went to take a shower there. In the early morning at dawn. Okay, he went take a shower at hot spring bath. Yeah. Okay, having bath that he come back. Okay, and at night the spirit or the deva came and asked him the question. Okay, approached him, and the deva said, by the way, the deva was stunning of his beauty. Like a good-looking monk, young, handsome, He got attention from the deva. The deva asked him the question. Okay, without having enjoyed, you six arm bhikkhu. You don't six arm after you enjoy. First enjoy bhikkhu, then six arm. Don't let time pass you by. And that's the approach from the deva. I do not know what the time might be. The time is hidden and cannot be seen. Hence, without enjoying, I six arm. Don't let time pass by. If you read by yourself, you may have no clue what it is. Basically, the deva approached him and asked him that, don't let the time pass by. Okay. You should enjoy. Without having enjoyed six arm, you don't six arm after you enjoy. First enjoy, and then six arm. Six arm mean you ordain. Okay, you ordain and then you follow the Buddha's path. But the deva said you should enjoy first. Enjoy what? Enjoy the life of householder. Enjoy sense pleasure, a worldly sense pleasure first, and then when you get old, then you can become a monk. So you get both benefit of having those experience and monk's experience, and that's what the deva try to approach the monk Samiddhi. And Monk Samiddhi said, I don't know what the time might be. This is very interesting. Basically, he tried to explain the deva that I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know whether I have time or not. I don't know when I'm going to die, because death, we have no idea when, where, how. That's why he decided to become a monk. So you have gone forth in ordination while you are young. This is another word, bhikkhu. Bhikkhu also means monk. Okay, with the black hair, with the bliss of your youth, okay, the prime of life. This is just perfect. Without having dull with sensual pleasure, you have perfect, age to enjoy sense pleasure. Enjoy human sense pleasure. Bhikkhu, do not abandon what is directly visible in order to pursue what takes time. This is the two key words here. What is directly visible mean, the sense pleasure. You young, you can enjoy whatever you want as a lay people do. Getting married, have family, buy house, buy car, traveling around the world. Why do you do that when you're young? Okay, but what is mean by take time? Pursue something that take time. Take time mean, in Buddhist belief, we believe that this is not the first lifetime that we born. It's not lifetime either. There's a law of karma. When you do good, you get good, But the good thing that you do now, okay, it may not take effect at the moment. It take effect in the future. let's say if Monk Samiddhi died in robes, he a good monk, he died, he surely be born somewhere in heaven. But that benefit, heavenly benefit, take time. Why don't you take it now? Enjoy the sense pleasure that available, that visible to you. Go ahead, enjoy it. And that's the idea of the deva. Because the deva is used to be a human. Okay, so the deva know both level of sense pleasure, as a worldly sense pleasure and heavenly sense pleasure. This is more refined form of sense pleasure. Okay, and that's what the deva, try to understand why did you do that? Why did you become a monk? Okay, what have you learned from this paragraph? A lot of things. For me, for example, if you want to do something, do when you're young. You get the most out of it. So if you value something in your life, you should do at the young age. Okay, that's just some thought that happening from this paragraph. Okay, so Monk Samiddhi said, I have not abandoned what is directly visible. I have not abandoned in order to pursue what it takes time. I have abandoned what takes time in order to pursue what is directly visible. This sentence is very confusing. For the blessed one, for the Buddha, the Deva, the Buddha stated that sensual pleasure are time consuming, full of suffering, full of despair, and the danger in them is still greater. See, the danger in them, the danger in sense pleasure is greater. While the Dhamma, so another keyword show up here, is directly visible, immediate, inviting, one to come and see, applicable, to be personally experienced by the wise. This is what the Buddha teach monks Samiddhi, okay, but did not teach the Deva. The Monk Samiddhi tried to explain the Deva, okay. The reason I abandon sense pleasure, because this is what the Buddha teach me, okay. What it mean by I have not abandoned what is directly visible in order to pursue what take time. That means he did not abandon sense pleasure, worldly sense pleasure, okay, in order to pursue the future sense pleasure, the heavenly sense pleasure in the future. I have abandoned what it takes time. I abandon those things too. To pursue what? To pursue what is directly visible. What directly visible to me is the Dhamma that I learned from the Buddha. Everyone follow so far? Okay. It's a little bit confusing, but again, it can be explained. So he did not ordain because both worldly pleasure, sense pleasure, and heavenly sense pleasure. No, not for that. But I ordain what visible for me, which is the teaching of the Buddha. And that get confused for the Deva, because the Deva have not heard the teaching of the Buddha, and the Deva believe that, the Deva believed that this young monk ordained because he abandoned sense pleasure, but he wished to, attain the heavenly sense pleasure. But Monk Samiddhi said, no, not both. I ordained because what visible for me, which is the teaching of the Buddha. And the Buddha emphasized that sense pleasure, is time consuming, and suffering, okay, is danger. Should be avoiding that. And then the Deva have doubt, okay. What is it? How is it that the best one of the Buddha, how come the Buddha said sense pleasure are time consuming, full of suffering, despair, and danger in them is still greater? The Deva don't understand how come sense pleasure is danger. Okay, how is it that the Dhamma is directly visible? How come the Dhamma is visible for you? Immediate, inviting one to come and see, applicable, be personally experienced by the wise. Why? I don't understand. The Deva don't understand. Do we understand? Why sense pleasure is suffering? Why sense pleasure bring great danger into our life? Okay, and how come the Dhamma is good? How come Dhamma is so benefit? The Deva don't understand. Okay, that's the question. You see how humble he is? The monk said, I am a newly ordained monk. I just ordained, friends, not long. Just recently come to this Dhamma. Just recently, learn the teaching of the Buddha. So I cannot explain in detail, but the best one of the Buddha, the Arahant, the perfectly enlightenment one, is over there in Ratchakrut. Okay? Why don't we go there and ask him? Why don't you go there and ask him? So the monk tell the Deva to go ask Buddha himself. But the Deva said, like I said, the junior Deva, like we cannot just go directly and ask the Buddha. There may be many, senior Deva already there, and ask question the Buddha. So I don't think I can go there. And so the Deva convinced the monks Samiddhi to go there and ask question for him. Okay. And once they got there, okay, the Buddha give the words to the Deva, okay, or this spirit. He said, beings who perceive what can be expressed. In one particular translator used the word express, and another translator used the word visible. You see how challenging when trying to understand the Buddhist text. Okay, we have the vocabulary limitation, and try to understand the Pali word. Become established in what can be expressed or visible, not fully understanding what can be expressed, then come under the yoke of death. Being mean, human being, us, or spiritual, someone, something, okay, who perceive what can visible, become established in what can express, not fully understand what can be expressed, then they come under the yoke of death. And the Buddha asked the Deva, do you understand what I just said? The Deva said, no, I don't understand. Let me continue this, and then I come back and explain. Buddha continued, said, but having fully understood what can be expressed, fully understood what can be expressed or what is visible, one does not conceive one who expressed, for that does not exist for him by which one could describe him. Again, like I said earlier, this particular sutra needs more explanation. It's not direct understanding. And the Buddha asked the spirit or the Deva, do you understand? He said, no. He said, I do not understand the detail. Okay. The Buddha mentioned 3 teachings to the Deva. Okay. The first 2, the Deva don't understand. But the last one, it seemed like he understands. Okay. So what's happening here? Being who perceive what can be expressed or visible. This is quite deep. When we read several texts that translate from the original Pali, okay, it helps us to understand the sutra much wider. Okay. In here, the Buddha talk about the 5 aggregate. Okay. What can be perceived mean you, me, the dog, wife, dad, kids, car. That's something we perceive. But in fact, there's no such thing. We, who is Long Pi Nalong Chai, who is Long Pi Nick, who is Long Pi Michael. But in fact, there is no we. Okay? We have 5 things composed together and it become us. It's called the 5 aggregate, right? Okay. Roop, Vedana. Roop mean form. Vedana mean feeling. Sanya mean thinking. Sanya mean ability to remember. Okay. Sankhan mean ability to think. And Vinyan mean your ability to know. 5 of these things, 5 factors together become us. There is no actual us, we, he, mom, dad, dog, cat, no such thing. Okay, this is quite deep, and the Deva did not understand. Okay, so we perceive that this is Long, this is Long Chai. Okay, and that's how we perceive. And then once we perceive, we cling on that. We cling on. We don't want to get old. We do our best to take care of this body, which is okay, right? In superficial sense, but in the eyes of the Buddha or those who understand the nature of life, there's nothing for us that worth clinging on. Okay. but the Deva don't understand. What is it? And then Buddha moved on to the second teaching to see if the Deva can understand. Okay, because the Deva want to understand the Dhamma. Okay, he see that the monk Samiddhi ordained because of he perceived or received the teaching of the Buddha, which is the Dhamma. But the Deva did not understand why is that. Why sense pleasure is dangerous. Why? What's the benefit of the Dhamma, of the teaching of the Buddha? So the second verse that the Buddha mentioned is that one who conceives, I am equal, I am better, or I am worse, might on the account engage in dispute or conflict. But one not shaken in the three discrimination, three of this, does not think I am equal or better. So this is called conceit. Okay, conceit. Conceit is another form of defilement. Okay, it's conceit. You think that you are. So if you feel like you worse than other, and then all of a sudden you're suffering. And it is said that the easiest way to get yourself in trouble or suffering, just compare yourself to someone that's better than you. Then you suffer. Okay, but some people can manage, to overcome that, to use that as a motivation to get better in life. Okay, and again, this the Deva don't understand what it is. Okay? If you understand, you say something. So in this case, I do not understand as well. Then the Buddha move on to the third one. He almost done. He abandoned, judging or reckoning, did not assume conceit. He cut off craving here, the name and form. Another keyword show up here, craving, desire, name and form, point to what? The five aggregate. Though Devas and humans search for him here and beyond in the heaven and all abodes, they do not find the one who not are cut, the one untroubled, free of longing. You can find this kind of people, okay, who abandon this conceit. It's very hard to find. It is very hard to find for someone who understands, there's nothing that worth clinging on, who understand the five aggregate. You can search for it. It's very difficult to find. Do you understand this? Buddha asks, the one that I just, talked to you. And this time the Deva said, well, I kind of understand. I understand in detail. This is what I understand. One should do no evil in all world, okay? Not by speech, my body. Having abandoned sense pleasure, mindful and clear comprehending, like always, be aware. One should not pursue a course that is painful and harmful or unskillful. And that's it. That's the end of the sutra. What have we learned so far? Okay, so if you look deeper, okay, this can be the summarize of the teaching of the Buddha. Okay, you do good, you don't do evil, and you purify your mind. Okay, stop doing bad, do no evil. Okay, body, speech, and mind, and abandon or give up sense pleasure, because it caused by desire. Okay, it will keep you trapped in the realm of suffering. And stay mindful. Okay, stay comprehending. That means you practice meditation. That's why you can be mindful, and that mindfulness can be sustained. And don't engage yourself into something unskillful, hurt yourself and hurt others. See, if you, let's say, you never study any kind of teaching of the Buddha, and all of a sudden you happen to learn this as the first sutra in your life, or the first time you heard the teaching of the Buddha from this sutra, okay, it can lead you directly to the core teaching of the Buddha. One should be aware that life is suffering. The true nature of life is suffering, and once we cling on it, we even more suffering. Cling on what? Cling on the five aggregate. Cling on the sense pleasure, and that is why ordination is the way out. For people back then who are seriously to go to this spiritual journey, he invites the monks, the people back then. Hey, not inviting. I mean, he point direction. This is the way out. When you become a monk, you're on your way to free yourself from suffering by cut off all the sense pleasure. Once your mind free from sense pressure, it's more effective for the mind to be back to the center when you meditate, and then you can purify more your mind, in much deeper way when you have nothing to be worried about. And that's it. That's the story of Monk Samiddhi. So take something with you. Why did Monk Samiddhi ordain? What interesting about being a monk? So young, good looking, maybe from good family as well, decided to ordain at young age, follow the teaching of the Buddha. There must be something, okay? And what did the spirit suggest Monk Samiddhi to do? You're so young, why don't you enjoy, wow, young age, have family, enjoy seeing the world first, and when you get old, you come and ordain. And to be honest, this used to be my thought, when I ordained 15 years ago. I told myself I'm gonna ordain for 1 month and go work, take care of my family, maybe get married, have kids, I don't know. But I feel like when I get old, I will come and ordain for sure. I want to die in robes, but not at the young age. That's what's my thinking. But maybe it's my destiny. So lucky that I did not, spend my time on that in the past 15 years. And the last one, what did the Buddha explain to the spirit? Okay, this is quite deep. The 3 words, 3 teaching that the Buddha teach the spirit or this deva, to me, it's quite deep. So with that, I'm done. Any question or comments, suggestion? So far so good. Okay, you guys like it? Hope you learned something. Okay. So with that, Anumotana Bun.